Well, this is an interesting twist of information. Apparently, Activision Blizzard has decided to be one of the first gaming companies that is going to rebrand DEI. Now, this is going to be something that's going to happen through all the companies. We've been talking about this coming for a while with the whole bridge nonsense and everything. They are going to have to rebrand DEI, inclusivity, all that stuff. They're going to have to rebrand it because the conversation around it is extremely negative. And these companies cannot do anything to quell the storm. The only thing they can do is rebrand at this point, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So Activision Blizzard apparently is rebranding diversity, equity, and inclusion to now be called inclusive growth as the public rejects wokeism.
Peter, I need you to hold my ears.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that they're rebranding this really should not be shocking. We have seen this happen so many times in movies and TV shows. It is now happening in gaming. DEI is known as that particular buzzword right now to label something that is a ridiculous game, right? It's just absolutely stupid. It's not made with the game at its forefront. It is made with an ideology in mind first, so the chances of it being a good game is extremely slim, and they know that. They're also probably doing that because of DEIdetected.com. Right? DEIdetected.com is a website that was started as a Steam curator list with Sweet Baby Ink detected by Kabuto's Rambo, and then eventually they realized, oh shit, by us being added to this game, to this list with DEI, we are going to lose a lot of sales. We need to rebrand and try to make it seem as if it's something different from DEI, which is not going to be. So let's get into this article from that part place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says a leaked newsletter from inside Activision and Blizzard reveals that the company is internally rebranding its diversity, equity, and inclusion group to inclusive growth in the wake of the public rejecting wokeism in nearly all levels of society. Former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern, aka Grooms, shared the newsletter from Activision's new head of inclusive growth, Casey Morris. Morris wrote, "We have some new news to share. Going forward, we'll be changing the name of our group from DEI or DENI. I forgot. They like to put the DENI because they don't like DEI together. Because again, DEI together is really a bad thing in the gaming industry, and they know that. Like the word is extremely negative, so they're trying to change it with that, but that wasn't enough. They're going to change it to inclusive growth to represent the dynamic and strategic work our team is doing to bring inclusion and equity to our people, candidate, the game development, and creative processes across the business. This change to use inclusive growth also better reflects the dynamic and amazing audience that plays our games today and ensures that we are growing in the right ways with our community," Morris added. Now, what are the right ways? Who knows? Because they never say it, right? I don't know who gets to deem what the right way of growth is. Apparently they do, right? Like they are the arbiters of everything. They're the ones who tell you what to think, say, and feel. At least that's what they want to do anyway. He concluded this adjustment does not impact one of our core values of championing diversity, equity, and inclusion. That work and value remains critical to our culture. This change simply better reflects our strategic people and business opportunities as we look into the future. This last comment right here is the truth, right? So they're going to show for DEI no matter what. They're not going to stop, so let it be known. And number two, they're only doing this for damage control. They're trying to do this so that in terms of PR, in terms of business opportunities, they're not going to be affected for being branded as DEI shills. That's essentially what it is, even though we know that that's what they are, and they're never going to stop, right? Activision Blizzard, especially Activision, has so many skeletons in the closet. They've been exposed for so many different sexual harassment, lawsuits, and whatnot. They are just all through the mud in the legal system, and yet they are the ones that are trying to do all of this DEI stuff because that way it gets the heat off their back. They can say, well, we're not racist because we did this for black people, or we're not sexist because we did this for women. You know, they need to do these things as shields. The more times they do this, the more shields they get, and that's the whole reason for this entire department to exist in the first place. Grums commented, Activision and Blizzard rebrands DEI as companies flee the label and downplay DEI and ESG. The terms are now deemed toxic to the political agenda, but nothing has changed. They are just trying to hide it now. He added, I've confirmed with multiple sources inside Activision Blizzard. Kirsch called it months ago. The rebrand is here. We've been saying it for months, bro. We have been saying it for months. They are going to rebrand it. They have no choice because ultimately the conversation around it is extremely negative. the conversation around it is shifting in the other direction. And that's because the amount of companies that have lost money, the amount of studios that have lost money, the amount of games that have failed, the amount of movies that have flopped, the amount of TV shows that have been canceled. I mean, there's only so much that you can do before you realize that the public perception around DEI is going to be extremely negative. So they're going to have to rebrand. There's no doubt about it. They're not going to stop. You think these ideological psychopaths are going to stop? No, of course they're not going to stop. They're going to keep going. They want us to stop. This is why they hate YouTubers. This is why they call us grifters. This is why they call us negative, rage baiters, all this stuff. They're trying to say everything they can to get us to stop because they do not like our voice. Our voice is the biggest weapon against this DEI bullshit. This rebrand comes in the wake of a number of major corporations completely ditching their DEI departments, including Tractor Supply, John Deere, Harley-Davidson, and Jack Daniels, following pressure from their customers, led by Robbie Starbuck. Now, again, these companies, they might have said they got rid of their DEI departments, but obviously it's something we have to see to believe. They could just be easily rebranding it just like every other company is trying to do right now. But to my knowledge, they did, in fact, remove all of it. So I guess we'll see. In fact, the Wall Street Journal report at the end of June revealed that the woke politics do not lead to growth and that the study by McKinsey back in 2015 has not been replicated and the firm's methods to determine its results are being questioned. This is what happens when you base an entire ideology around one singular study that is not factually based. The whole thing goes up in flames. And you just should focus on, like, you're trying to make creative projects, right? Obviously, you need to make money. There's no doubt about that. Nobody's saying you can't make money. But you're focusing on creative projects. And the last thing that you're doing when making these games is being creative. Like, why is being creative the lowest on the list when making these games that start and think and come from creativity? Why? Like, what's the purpose? James McIntosh wrote, academics have tried to repeat McKinsey's findings and failed, concluding that there is, in fact, no link between profitability and executive diversity. There never is. If anything, it's probably less. It's probably less because then what happens is you start hiring people who aren't best for the job, but you start hiring people who check off that box, and they hate it. They hate when you say that. They hate when you admit and acknowledge that they are, in fact, most likely diversity hires. Again, just because you're Black, Spanish, or whatever doesn't mean you're a diversity hire. But if they, let's say they advertise your hire, right? And they say, okay, we just got so-and-so person added to the team. And in that comment, they start off with so-and-so person is, I don't know, African-American, and they are going to be the first ever Black, blah, 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 whatever. If you advertise someone's hiring with that, then they are a DEI hire. That is inherently what they are, because you hire them so that you can virtue signal with that hire. You can preach about it. You can talk about how they're the first whatever to be hired at the company. Miss me with that bullshit. You guys don't want to admit that DEI hiring is a thing, and yet all of your executives have their bonuses tied to how much DEI hiring they actually perform. It's a fucking joke. He added, academics can't replicate McKinsey's study precisely because it keeps secrets the names of the companies it used. But a paper published this year finds that McKinsey's methodology doesn't show benefits from diversity from S&P 500 companies for a range of profitability metrics. It isn't the lack of diversity is good for profits either. It's just there's no link. So again, ladies and gentlemen, it's all bullshit. We all know that. And ultimately, at the end of the day, DEI is going to continue to get absolutely wrecked as they continue to rebrand from here. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.